Make a Killing is the brand new movie that's hitting theaters this upcoming Friday. The film's directed by John Patton Ford, who's coming off of, for me, one of the most overlooked movies of the last 5 years. He directed Emily the Criminal. This movie stars Glenn Powell as Beckett Redfellow, someone who was born into this very ultra-rich family when he was very young. His mother was kicked out of this family, and they got rid of everything into his inheritance. So when his mother dies, he tries to go back in the city and he realizes that the best way to make money is to start killing off members of his family in order to regain his inheritance. The family is run by Whitelaw Redfellow, who's played by Ed Harris. And we meet a lot of people in his family, including Bill Camp as his uncle and his two cousins, who are played by Topher Grace and Zach Woods. Margaret Qualley is in the movie as Julia, someone who was a childhood friend of Beckett's, but when they meet each other again as adults, Julia seems more a threat to Beckett than a true love interest or friend. Jessica Henwick serves as the love interest as Ruth, someone who is the most normal, down-to-earth character in the entire movie, who's thrown into this very ultra-rich and divisive situation. The film is an hour and 45 minutes and is rated R. Welcome back, everyone, to a brand new review here. Max Talks Movies. My name is Max Denver. We're talking how to make a killing. So if you guys are new, please hit that subscribe button, ring that bell so notified when my videos hit the channel. I do movie, TV show reviews, attitude reactions, box office breakdown shows. I do it all. So if you guys are new, please subscribe. Ring the bell would really mean a lot to me. Comment down below. What are your thoughts? Are you excited for this movie? Are you liking the trajectory of Glenn Powell's career, or do you think he should make a big time change? Love to hear your thoughts down in the comments. And also, guys, please hit the thumbs up button. So as I said, this movie does not come out until this Friday, which is February the 20th, but I got a chance to see it early at the AMC Screen Unseen, and I'll have to get my thoughts on this new A24 movie. And I will say, I feel extremely mixed on how to make a killing. If you're very new to the channel, outside of horror movies, my favorite genre, I guess you want to call it, or way of movie is dark comedies. I love a good dark comedy. If you look at my list over the last couple of years, usually there's one or two dark comedies that make my top 15, 20 of a particular year. And A24, this ensemble is really strong. I'm a big fan of Emily the Criminal, my favorite Aubrey Plaza performance. And I really think it's, again, overlooked movie of the last 5 years. So I was pretty excited for the movie, even though it seemed like no one was really talking about it. And I think this is a tale of, I just have two completely different thoughts on the films. On a positive side, I do think Glenn Powell is the best thing going in this movie. He is so charismatic. He's so believable in this situation. At one point, he can do some pretty dark things, but at the next point, he can be very funny and relatable. You can kind of get why people like him from any walk of life, if it's his rich people, family, or it's a regular, everyday person like Ruth. He can find that relatability and charm in any room that he is in. And that's why it's really important to cast someone like Glenn Powell in a movie like this. Obviously, he can play the funny stuff, the action stuff when it's needed, but he's so charismatic in this role. My favorite performance, though, was Jessica Henwick. As I said, she's really the only relatable character in the entire film because everyone else is either a douchebag, a rich person, all these things. Even Glenn Powell is not the most likable person at all. He's doing some pretty horrible things in order to get his money. Jessica Henwick is the one person who feels like a real person thrown into this situation, and she's very good. She's never really put into a lot of movies where she's like supposed to shine, but she's excellent here. I think she's, again, a very underrated actress, and she gets a lot more to do in this movie than I was expecting. I thought she was very good. Again, the whole ensemble, I think the two sequences with Zach Woods and Topher Grace were easily the funniest parts of the movie and really felt like a true, great, dark comedy. It had a good vibe to it, had a plot that was very easy to follow, and a premise that I honestly was very much invested in throughout the entire film. But for me, the biggest problem with this movie is that it is structurally flawed. It uses a plot device that I absolutely hate, which is the movie starts, and this is not a spoiler, But the movie, and you see it in the trailers, Glenn Powell narrates basically this entire movie. We open with him, and it's in the present, and basically all of the events of the movie is the past. Glenn Powell is narrating the entire story, and we know basically where he's going to end up. I really think that plot device destroys any intensity that this movie could have. And I am someone who is very picky about narration as well. And as I said in my out of theater reaction, this movie has relentless narration. It is hard to find a good 5 to 10 minute chunk in the movie where there's literally no narration. It is so overused, and I think narration is necessary in particular movies, but sometimes this movie has to even have narration describing how he's feeling in a particular situation. And I think this movie uses narration for such, makes it feel so lazy that they use it because they don't let the audience understand what he's thinking or what he's going through. We need Glenn Powell to be even quirky and hilarious as a narrator instead of just seeing him do these actions. I think it's a plot device that is overused in this movie in an extremely lazy way to explain how things are happening. From a story perspective, I think the key dynamic of the movie, which is Beckett and Julia, Glenn Powell and Margaret Qualley, was for me the least interesting thing going on in the entire film. I love Margaret Qualley and I love Glenn Powell, and they really did have excellent chemistry. But Julia was the least interesting character in the entire movie, and she's supposed to be the main foil into what Beckett is doing as an adult. She's kind of catching on to what he's doing, and you're supposed to feel like she's such a threat, but she's just not in the movie enough to feel her presence. You just don't feel her presence in big moments. Qualley is so, savoring the screen time and taking advantage of what little screen time she has. But the character is not that interesting, and it is the focal key conflict of the movie is this relationship, and I just did not care. So there are points that this movie is really funny and quippy and entertaining. There is some really good, smart, inventive, dark comedy, but I think this movie is just structurally flawed by the way how it uses its narration, basically telling us where the character is going to end up right at the beginning of the movie. And I think the key dynamic was a miss. So overall, I'm giving How to Make a Killing a 2.5 out of 5. I'm going 48% for the new A24 movie. What are your thoughts on How to Make a Killing? Let me know down in the comments. Like this video, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I'll see you guys in another video very soon.